Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Life of a Business Manager podcast. I'm your host, Sina Chan, and on today's episode, we're diving into the journey of my good friend, Melinda Lee. She's an incredible person inside and out, a very supportive friend, and a super hardworking mom. We will talk about how she got started in medical sales, then finding her voice after leaving a high pressured career, and end with a mini life break and her sharing her path to self discovery. I just want everyone to please keep an open mind as you're listening to this episode because we're discussing our experiences, which might not be the same as others in the industry. If you've ever wondered what's next after stepping away from a familiar role, this episode is for you. Let's get started. Hi, Melinda.
Hi, Sina.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome to the podcast. This is very nerve wracking, by the way. You're like my second guest, but I'm super excited and we have some questions for you. Let's just have you introduce yourself, or maybe we should start with how we met.
Maybe we go back to how we started our friendship. I love that. And
Okay.
thank you, by the way, for having me on your podcast and join to tell my story today. Really appreciate that.
Of course, anytime. I really appreciate you even coming on my podcast because I know you're busy and everyone has a life, but it's just nice for you to squeeze me in. So, just a little bit of introduction. Melinda and I know each other from work. I'm a business manager, and so she was one of my vendors, and we built the friendship. And then you moved on from medical sales, and then we kept in touch, and now you've become just one of my good friends. And now you're on the podcast.
Yes, indeed. And I love it. And yeah, I would always say that I wanted more customers like yourself. And we just have a connection. It was like an instant connection. So I truly appreciate how our relationship progressed to a friendship.
Yes, I totally agree with you. Let's start with just introducing yourself, Melinda. So if you just want to give a little bit of an introduction about yourself, your background briefly with the audience. You want to start with that?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Sina. So, hi, I'm Melinda Lee. Lee is my married name. Melinda Franco was born and raised in a border town in Texas, El Paso, by a very scrappy Hispanic lady, my mother. Being the oldest of three, I entered the sales force when I was still a senior in high school, and it was really to help my mom make ends meet. I wanted a better outcome and a better life for myself and my family. So I'm extremely grateful for that today, as it was what gave me my backbone. I was very lucky to find my purpose early in life. My very first job, believe it or not, was being a receptionist at a hair salon. I worked for these brothers. They were popping up hair salons all over town. And I became the manager and really helped them open up the hair salons, do inventory, payroll, just about everything. Back then, believe it or not, minimum wage was $3.25 an hour.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, they called me cheap. And then after that, I worked in retail at the mall, and I was a manager and did a lot of really good things there. Grew the business a lot for the owners. And then I got my first break into outside sales, what they call B2B sales, in the late 90s. I sold multi-million dollar labor contracts in manufacturing and construction. So I didn't make that kind of money, but I made a lot of money for the owners. The salary at the time was $30,000, but I had to work double shifts. And I ended up working at one of the accounts I had just landed. Remember Acer Computers?
Yes.
Up a massive manufacturing and warehouse there in my hometown. And yeah, that's where I worked for about 3 years. But it gave me, again, grit, determination, gave me my really strong work ethic. And I found purpose because I was helping thousands and thousands of displaced garment workers get into jobs in computers and electronics. Again, the computer industry was around the corner. And after all that, I just actually gave me an opportunity to land a job with a big corporation, which is extremely competitive to get into. I just felt like I had just been accepted at Harvard. That's the best analogy I can reference. So that's when I started my first medical sales job in 2000.
Wow. And you were there for some time.
I was. It actually, after a year with them, they moved me to California, where I still live today. And I met, obviously, my husband, and I'm a proud mom and I have my daughter who's 10, but I've been in California since, and I was in medical sales, God, for a fairly long time, about a little over 25 years in medical sales.
Okay. So what were some of your, obviously there's challenges with medical sales. I think there's good and bad, right? From experience, but I know in the medical sales, as I can speak from all the vendors I deal with, most of them are men. There's not too many women in medical sales. So I think when I first met you, I was surprised that you were in medical sales just because I've been working with all men. Unfortunately, in that industry, the bulk of it are men. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And let me just go back just a second. But I remember when I hadn't gotten my break into medical sales just yet, but I was at a party and I had gone there with a guy I was dating, and he was a doctor. And I remember him introducing me to a very, like, really gorgeous, like, very attractive, dark hair girl named Danielle. And I remember him just doting all over her, like, oh, this is Danielle. Isn't she gorgeous? She's a pharmaceutical rep, very successful. She makes a ton of money. She was the one that got all the attention in the room. So I remember shaking her hand and just rushing off to the bathroom there at that party and just looking in the mirror and really looking at myself at that time and just looking and saying, I can be Danielle. Like, what does she have that I don't have? And that's when I really got obsessed with wanting to find everything out about either going into pharmaceutical sales or getting into like a medical company, or just, starting to change my career and really taking a hard look at getting into, again, medical sales, hospital sales, pharmaceutical sales.
So then, what were some of your challenges that you faced, like the first at least 5 to 10 years? Because I know you were in the company for some time
Man, well, I'll tell you this, that
that you could
when I
share.
yeah, yeah, that's a lot of questions, Sina. Um, I would tell you that even getting the job was extremely competitive. The good thing is that the hiring manager happened to be a female. And when I met Barb, yeah, I really reminded her of herself. She even told me that when we first met. And it was not surprising to hear, but it is the truth. When later on, when I got hired, obviously, and she gave me the job, she told me that I was first of all, I was the only female that had applied for the role, and I beat out 30 males that had applied for the role. But she didn't give me the job just because I was a female. I had already given her many, many different examples of, my success, my hard work, how it's paying off. I was, again, breaking records for the other companies I'd worked for. So, she pretty much had her mind made up that I was the one that was going to be chosen. And sure enough, I was. And even going to the first day on the job, they call it boot camp. They fly you into corporate office and you go there. It was a room full of male energy. Everyone was wearing navy blue suits and they were all like jocks. And there was only two other females that were starting with the company as well, but they had just graduated college, and they were, again, gorgeous. They just looked like models. And then the guys looked like, jocks. And there were just too many beautiful people in one room at the same time. It was crazy.
That sounds overwhelming, actually.
Right? Yeah. But I don't think much has changed, honestly. And this was back in 2000. Here's fast forward, what is it, more than two decades later, and it's still pretty much the same. You kind of still see it. You yourself were saying that you dealt with a lot of men that had those roles.
Yes, I think there's definitely more women now in the medical sales, but it's still a low percentage compared to men, for sure. And typically for the women's sales, I really try to ask, how did they get into it and what drew them to that, just because they stand out.
Yeah, I think you asked me another question too. At the same time, you were asking what were some of the biggest challenges I have faced being in that industry. The oppression is very real, right? You're kind of in this box and you're required to deliver results and kind of prove your worth, per se. And there's not a lot of room for career advancements. leadership roles, all of that. You don't see a lot of women holding those high level positions in companies. And even going into tech, the most of the women that are in that industry have marketing roles. That's when I would show up and they'll be like, "Oh, are you in marketing?" That was the very first question that they would ask. I'm like, "No, I'm an actual individual contributor. I'm in, technical sales or tech sales."
Wow, so they would ask you that. They would just assume you were in marketing.
Yes, yes, yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. Sadly enough, but it's still the way I guess women are kind of looked at, or I wouldn't say judged. That's kind of like a hard word, but they just assume again that you're in a certain role because you're a female.
Did you at least feel some sort of fulfillment in the job? I know at least like networking or building relationships with customers. What were some of the fulfillments that you can give an example to? For
Oh yeah, absolutely. I really felt a fulfillment, and for me, it's because it's always making sure that I'm making an impact, taking care of the customers, and for me, it was all about patience and ensuring that I'm giving them a voice at the table, because what I was putting together were programs that really made an impact on the way their instruments were being handled, to ensure that they were being sterilized appropriately and that we were making a difference in their outcome. So, it was always good to see that I was doing the right thing and I was being validated when leadership and customers at all levels would give me hugs or send me thank yous and give me kudos for really partnering with them and continuing to help them solve for what they were trying to solve for. So that gave me a lot of gratification and a lot of fulfillment for sure.
I think that was probably what drew you to medical sales, was being able to feel valuable to your customers, right?
Yes,
Feeling like
yes,
you've done something or completed a task for them or fulfill what they're asking you to do. I think that,
yes.
yeah, that validation helps to keep moving forward, especially with medical sales job, because it could be pretty much could be like run you down a little bit. It's a tough role in my opinion. There's no
Oh,
way
yeah.
I could do it.
It's tough for sure because, you want to appease others and please others, and you're out there again. You're not there to solve world hunger, but in a sense, that kind of like Mother Teresa syndrome is there as well, because you definitely are in an industry that really has an impact on the lives of others. Honestly,
Yes, I tell all my vendors, I'm like, I cannot do your job.
well, that's one thing I learned early, is how to deal with so many different personality and different people, and just everything. That's what you learn early on, is your social skills.
Yes, yes. Lots of communicating, social skills, reading the room,
Mm-hmm.
all
Mm-hmm.
of that.
Oh yeah, how to play beta when you're facing an alpha.
Yeah.
I do that extremely well, even though I'm a type A personality. Some people would never know that.
No, I had no idea, Melinda. I'm a
Really?
total
Now you're joking.
No, I'm not joking. I am not a typical I'm a type A at work, but I'm not a type A at home.
So see, that's why we get along. That's exactly it. I'm a type A, but you would never know because I'm always putting others before me and I want them to be successful. I don't need all the glory and the accolades and the trophy. I don't need any of that. I want them to, like, I'll put a idea and I'll present it and I want them to embrace it and own it like it's theirs. And I don't care, as long as I'm helping them achieve what they want to achieve. And their success is honestly my success. I know it sounds a little cheesy, but that's really what I'm after, is making sure that, they're successful and I'm helping them, get there.
Great. No, I think that's awesome that that's exactly what pushes you. So you're not in medical sales right now though, right? Like you got out of that. I'm trying to go through other questions.
That's okay. I know you asked me like what was the catalyst on why I left.
Hey there, fellow business managers. Are you looking to save time and boost productivity in your role? Let me introduce you to my stand store, where I've put together a collection of ready to use business templates designed specifically for people like us. These templates are practical, professional, and crafted with the day to day challenges of business management in mind. Check out my Stam Store now at stamstore.com/life of a business manager. Thank you so much for supporting the podcast and hope you enjoy the rest of the episode. Let's talk about exactly what was next for you after that, right? And then we'll go to current state on your decision to transition out of the medical sales, because you're not doing medical sales. I think you moved into a different industry, and if you want to go over that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would I would say, yeah, for me, it was, there's frustration everywhere, right? I think when you realize that either the goal or the mission or the culture isn't aligned to where you want to be, that's when you start having a real just talk with yourself on, hey, am I happy? Is this, the right vehicle for me to take me, to the next level? For me, I'm a curious person. I always love to expand and learn and kind of up my game per se, or improve my skill set, meet new people. If the mission is there and all of that, then I want to go on that crusade where we're continuing to, again, impact the lives of others or improve something or help, all of that. So, yeah, I left medical for a little bit. I think I was just in the wrong vehicle at that time. I think the company was going in an opposite direction. The culture was changing. And I think what really matters is your manager, right? Or your leader. I think I was, because when my leader left, I got another manager, and I just didn't see eye to eye with the new manager. So that's when I decided to embark on a new journey, and I ended up going into tech. And then after tech, I ended up going into construction. But it's always, a way to, again, learn new things, still have a mission, and then just continue to, have an impact. So still the same.
So would you say it's still the same, as in like still the same type of job? Like you're still doing sales, but just for a different industry?
Yeah, I would say that. Yep.
Okay. And with the construction company, could you say exactly if I'm always curious, although you don't have to provide a number or anything, and I'm totally going off tangent here, but
It's okay.
I was always curious about one of the reasons why I wouldn't go into sales, because I'm so afraid of not meeting quota, right? And
Yeah,
that is probably
yeah.
that would keep me up at night. That would give me anxiety just to have that in the back of my head that I have to meet sales. And I deal with it with some of my vendors, when they're kind of on that verge, or, end of the quarter and they're calling me. So how did you handle that, or meeting the quota, or was that just not something you thought about and you just kept doing, like, grinding and just doing your work?
Yeah, it's oh my God, thanks for that question. And that is 100% correct, where you're talking about that pressure and that type of, when you're in the sales type of role or an individual contributor where you're driving revenue for a company, it gets intense. I'm not going to lie, it gets very intense. But when you're kind of wired a certain way where you're not looking at the number, you're literally looking at the overall, like, this is where I need to go. What do I need to do to get there? And you start putting together the numbers in a small, concise way that is digestible. I know it's hard to explain because I'm talking from a sales perspective, but you don't try to engulf the whole number all at once. You kind of break it down, and then you kind of just, again, you do the right thing. You show up for your clients, you show up for the bigger cause, and your success ends up being, you start seeing the results just come in naturally. It's hard to explain. When you don't concentrate on the number and like the end goal, you're just concentrating on what you're doing every single day and that task, everything comes in on the back end. It's a trip, but it's There's no other way to describe it. It works. I've never missed quota, honestly. This is something that is going to really freak people out. But I've been in sales obviously a long time, 30 years. I've only missed quota about a handful of times, believe it or not. And it wasn't my fault. It could have been the FDA didn't clear a certain product, or something got pulled, or something bizarre. But isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. I would have missed quota the first 2 years and probably lost.
Stop. I would say change the strategy. I'm kidding.
Well, because for me, I just kind of linger. So if I know I have to meet a certain number, that
Yeah.
will stick in my head. I don't know if I can actually handle that. I mean,
Yeah.
I can handle different pressures. Obviously, we all have pressures in
Yeah,
each of
like
our
deadlines.
roles.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I can handle deadlines and all of that. But if you're asking me to sell like $5 million a year, it's not.
yeah. I never see myself as a salesperson. I kind of see myself as and this is what they've told me, like customers have told me, they see me as a partner, and we're literally just solving problems together. So they'll come in and I get to have them open up, and they get to share their biggest challenges or their pain points and what they're trying to solve for. And most likely, it's a solution that we're going to be able to have them take a look at and see if it makes sense for both of us, for them and, us, the company. And lo and behold, they're like, yes, that makes total sense. Like, and then I help, deploy the program or whatever they're going to be doing. And you do a little bit of that project management, but at the end of the day, you're not transactional. You're literally there making an impact, helping them, and that success just snowballs. And before you know it, you already have the numbers before the quarter even begins. And that's kind of the best position you can be in when you're in sales. But I never looked at my job as I'm a salesperson. I'm not that. I'm a partner, I'm a advisor, I'm a consultant, I'm helping, again, that's I don't see myself as selling. Isn't that weird?
No, that is weird, but that's probably the best. That's probably the best approach and advice if anyone wants to go in sales is don't look at yourself as a salesperson. Look at yourself as more than that, right?
Yes,
Relationship building, networking, partnership, all of that.
all of it. Yeah, always helping others. When you put others first, everything falls in place. I know. I'm trying not to sound cheesy, but it's really what I do. There's no secret formula. Honestly, that's kind of what I do. And that's how it works.
Did you want to say anything else about your work experience before we go into second part, which will be more about your self discovery and then also lessons learned and everything else moving forward? Did you want to say anything else to the audience about or give advice to anyone that is interested in sales, especially women, before we move forward?
All I would say is you have what it takes, and it's all about making sure that you're always authentically understanding what you want to do. Give yourself that permission to go after it, and then put together everything that it's going to take to get you to where you want to go. Sometimes leaning on others that are in the trade can help. Kind of interview them and saying, hey, I really just want like 10 minutes, want to really understand what you love about it, how you got into it, describe the day in the life of what you do every day, seeing if that's really what you want to do. Honestly, at the end of the day, it's purpose. Always lead with purpose. And if it feels right, then go for it. Don't hold yourself back. Just jump in with two and start going.
Just start moving, right,
Yeah,
Melinda?
start swimming. Go.
Well, I wanted to get into your like self-discovery journey and what you've learned just as of now and also what what you want to share with the audience that's listening. I think that was great, the first part. So thank you so much, Melinda. That was I know we didn't go over every question, but I think we kind of tackled the bulk of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that medical sales was exactly everything that everyone would say, very glamorous type of job. I remember going to like my first, I think baseball game. They took us to the Dodger Stadium. We always, we would go to the best like restaurants. We would order. I remember one time, oh my God, we were in Vegas for a conference. Our bar tab for like 12 people was like over $6,000. It's the first time I've ever experienced like really amazing wine and everything. I didn't come from that environment. I grew up in very humble beginnings, but I learned really quickly that, yeah, you know, if you've got what it takes and you're not afraid to put yourself out there and you have that grit and that determination, nothing can hold you back, honestly. And if medical sales is something that's really calling you, definitely, go for it. There's nothing holding anyone back. If anyone can say I stood out like a sore thumb, I was probably one of only two women of color that worked at that corporation. And it was fine. I didn't mind that I was one of two. I liked it. Yeah. It was a trip, right?
That that is a trip, Melinda. That's wow. I can't believe that. Although I think even that's true right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, you still see it everywhere. But again, hold your own, be tough, let them know that, yeah, what I've heard this early on, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going.
You're so passionate.
Should I make that t-shirt and wear it?
You should. You're so funny. Well, let's start with your how do you want to start your journey to self-discovery? I know that sounds cheesy, but I think I was going more on the fact as far as like what have you learned so far in life and what
Yeah.
have you learned from yourself and what are some of your goals and visions for like part 2 of your life pretty much.
Oh, yeah. So, just having some time off recently, right? It's the first time ever since, God, I was still in high school when I started working that I took time off for myself to do a lot of self care, self discovery, really find out, you know, my happiness, my level of happiness, wanting to obviously continue to connect to my loved ones, my friends, my network, my family, everyone. I guess this break has been really encouraging. It made me realize that I miss being in the healthcare, realm. I'm actually going to get back to healthcare. I probably didn't share that with you, but yeah, I was
Oh, you
offered a
are.
job. Yeah, yeah, I'll be helping patients with wounds that won't heal. Be working for one of the big tissue banks. They make this skin allograft with placenta donor tissue. So I'll be getting into that realm very shortly. But during my time away from healthcare, really called on, hey, what is my purpose? What I'm doing really making a difference and having that impact. Am I truly happy? Am I showing up authentically every day? Well, all that stuff becomes very real when you're a step away and look at what you're doing through a different lens, per se. And it took me being away from healthcare to bring me back to healthcare, if that makes sense.
Yes, no, that definitely makes sense. I didn't know you were going back into the healthcare industry, and I think I know where you're going, but we will not say it on this podcast
I
because I've
know,
heard
but I'm
so many.
excited. I know.
I'm so happy for you.
Yes, yes. Like continue to help patients and help, the customers. And yeah, and one another thing I learned is you don't take shit from, bad managers. You don't take crap from bad leadership. All that stuff. Know your self-worth and again, stand your ground and push back when you know it's right. And make sure that people treat you well. And then you get to appreciate the good companies that are out there, and you disengage from environments that are toxic or managers that are not good managers. It took me time away from that environment to, I guess, plug back into my true self and knowing that what I do really does matter and who I am matters as well. So that imposter syndrome and all that, where I felt that I wasn't good enough, I put her away. So she's in a closet far, far away. She's not coming out anytime soon.
I think that the imposter syndrome is real, though. I think everyone has it. I mean, I even have it. I mean, even creating this podcast, I was like, I don't think I can do this. I don't know if I can interview. But that I think comes from childhood. I
Mm-hmm.
think for me, it's you just never feel like you're good enough, right? So you're
Mm-hmm.
always kind of just shooting for the stars, and you still feel like you're not good enough. And
Yeah.
I don't know for you and your childhood, but at least for me, I think that's my problem. Still working on it, but it's okay.
Are you kidding? You're an amazing person. Yeah, but yeah, the imposter syndrome is very real. I think it's real for just a number of different people, right? It's the
Yes.
story in their head that just presents itself again and it plays back, especially if you get like a poor review on one of your reviews with your manager, or you get put on like on a performance improvement plan or whatever it is. There's ways that they try to keep you in check or try to suppress you, especially if you're a dynamic person that has a lot to give and offer. Certain people are intimidated and they feel like, oh my God, this person's just too good. They'll probably take my job, or that's what they're going to go after is my job. And everyone's always worried about themselves instead of wanting to coach and embrace a strong individual that can really do good and in the role that they're in.
What are your goals or visions for this new chapter since you're going back to healthcare? And it seems like that's where you're passionate.
Yeah, and when I was talking to my new manager, and it just felt so organically comfortable. It almost felt like I was back home, like I had gone away on this trip somewhere, and all of a sudden I came back to a very comfortable place where I just feel very empowered, honestly, to just do great things. And I will have their support. I have support of like the whole team. The good thing is the structure's different than what I'm used to, but here it's almost like you're your own boss, you're growing your own business, and they're giving you all the tools to make the money you want to make. It's almost like you're like, I'm a contractor, which is a different setup that I've ever been used to. But again, if I'm just doing what I love to do, which is obviously taking care of patients, giving them a voice, advocating for their health and safety, then that's what will carry me through. And I'm looking forward to all of that and making that continue to make that positive contribution in this world and continue to advocate for a better and safer tomorrow, especially in healthcare, and continue to reshape healthcare by providing technologies that are, emerging and being able to offer them to patients so that they know that there's something better and better therapies that can get them to the better state where they want to be or want to go for
I
the
think
health.
that's like the best news today.
I'm excited. I'm coming back, Sina. I'm
I know
coming back.
you're coming back. When do you start?
I think next week I start with the training, and then yeah, I'll probably my start date will be April 1st.
Congrats. I'm so happy for you. I had no idea. I'm glad you're sharing.
I know I wanted to save it for you for this podcast.
Okay,
Surprise!
perfect.
That's where my heart is, right? Like they'll say your passion, and honestly, and getting cheesy, but it's more of my calling. It just feels natural. It feels like the right thing. It doesn't feel like work. That's when they say like that's the that's when you're doing what you love. Is again, it doesn't feel like I'm selling anything or working. It's literally just doing what I was kind of probably put on this earth to do, is to help others, honestly.
No, I completely agree. I knew you couldn't sit still for a minute.
Yeah, it was killing me. But honestly, believe it or not, those 4 months went so fast. Can you believe I was doing a lot of self care? 4 months went by like fast, lightning.
It was probably a nice break though.
Yes, it was. And if anyone is out there listening that has thought about taking a break to just reset, pivot, hit the real hard reset button, take care of yourselves, take care of others or loved one, all that. Don't be afraid. I'm pushing. I'm a bona fide senior citizen this year. I've seen. I can't believe it.
No, I can't.
I am, and look at me, I'm still going, and I'm getting starting another role in healthcare, and there's nothing stopping you. If that's what you wanna do, just go for it.
Yes, I completely agree. I just think life is short and you just have to do what you want to do.
Mhm.
What have you actually done in that 4 months or just more recovering?
Oh my god, I learned, again, how to start my day with, positive intentions. Believe it or not, I learned that. I learned how to channel. Again, that negative cookie talk is gone. So every day I start with a positive either quote or saying to myself, or I play, some of the music I like to just get me in the mood. I love putting on makeup every day and an outfit that makes me feel good. And then I'll just, you know, go to either go get some coffee or walk around at one of the stores and just, and then I talk to strangers. Honest, just connect with people because I miss it so much. I miss connecting and seeing people face to face.
I think because you're more of an extrovert, right?
Yes, yes,
Yes, I would feel the same way. I would feel like I need to just get out, talk to anybody, anyone that wants to talk to me.
yes, yeah. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention, I started volunteering at my daughter's school, and oh my God, I started running their fundraising programs.
Oh, that's great.
And that brought me so much joy, and my daughter too. It's just she like lights up every time she sees me on campus, and she runs and introduces me to people. This is my mommy. This is my mommy, because they knew my husband forever. She's 10, and they would never see me coming on campus because I worked so much. But now that every opportunity I had, I was showing up at her school and volunteering. So now they get to know me, and she's my biggest cheerleader, and I make her so proud every day. And when she was younger, she didn't know, time why I was not spending time with her, why I wasn't available, especially when like the pandemic hit and I was working from home. Even though I was home, I wasn't home. I wasn't in mommy mode. I was in, the professional mode. Um, she understands now that time away from her is not being wasted. I'm out there again helping patients and helping my clients find solutions.
Well, and I think she can look up to you for that too.
Yeah.
Show that, look, mommy's working, taking care of everything, and still here to be able to volunteer as well. So,
Thanks for saying that. That's one of the most exciting things too for me is I want to always continue to be a role model for the younger generation, my family, and letting them know that, hey, you are good enough. You are enough. You're able to do anything that you want to do. And, just find something that, again, serves your purpose and, go out there and get it. And if someone gives you shit and they're trying to bring you down, move on and don't take it. Change and can find that company or surround yourself around people that love you and will empower you and will help you achieve what you want to achieve.
I think it's good, Melinda. I mean, we can conclude if you would like, or if there's anything else that you want to share. My only other question is, when are you going back to Texas? Because isn't your family in Texas? When are you visiting them?
Oh my God. So it'll be in June. My nephew is graduating high school. And then my sister had her daughter, Tori, really young. So my sister became a grandmother. I don't know if I mentioned that to you. So that they're bringing um, my sister's grandson. So my niece Tori is bringing her son to El Paso. So we're having a big reunion in June. I rented a big house and we're going to have everyone there. And I get to spend a lot of time with a family in June.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, I miss them.
How many times during a year do you fly out to Texas, or is it like every other year?
No, just every year. And it's after, right in the beginning of my daughter's like summer break.
Okay,
So we,
okay.
we try to get out there really early June before it gets super hot.
Oh yes, it does get scorching hot.
Yeah,
No, you're right.
yeah. My daughter loves
Never
it.
been. I've never been to Texas,
Oh
so
my God, yeah. We're going to other parts of New Mexico this time, and yeah, but I love it. Just, being with family. I miss them a lot. And I get to see my mom, my mama.
Well, I think I'm good with all the questions, Melinda, unless you have any other ones. We can always conclude, and I can thank you for being here on this podcast.
No, I can't thank you enough for letting me take part, and I really appreciate it. And yeah, if anyone has follow up questions, feel free to maybe shoot them my way, and we can maybe address some of those at a later one. Love to, share some more.
Why don't we share your LinkedIn? I can share it on the podcast, the show notes, if you would like. It's up to you.
Yeah, that works.
I can
Perfect.
I can do that. So if any of you guys have any other questions for Melinda, who's a great guest, and I had such a great time conversating with Melinda. Thank you, Melinda, for joining our podcast. If anyone else is interested in any questions for Melinda or just curious about medical sales and her life in general, I will leave her LinkedIn information in the show notes. So Melinda, do you have any closing words?
Just letting everyone know that, again, thank you for listening. Hope to see you again on another podcast. And again, don't let anyone tell you that you're not good enough or you can't do it. Show up for yourself and go after it.
Those are great words, Melinda. Thank you so much, Melinda. You're great.
Well, thank you, Sina, so much for having me. Until the next one. Thank
The
you.
next one will get very, very, personal, but this one we'll start off very, very light. Enjoy your day. I really appreciate it. And we'll catch up, and good luck to you with everything. Enjoy your month off before you start your new work. And we'll just go from there.
Awesome. Thank you, Sina, so much. We'll talk soon.
Okay. Thanks, Melinda.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to our episode with Melinda. She's great. She's fabulous. One of my favorite people. And I wish her the best of luck in her new job. I had no idea, but I'm glad she shared it on the podcast. So if you're interested in anything else on this podcast or curious about Melinda, I will put the LinkedIn in the show notes. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Until next time, bye. Hi, everyone. Just a reminder, the content provided in our podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be construed as professional advice. Listeners are encouraged to consult with appropriate professionals before making any business decisions based on the information provided in this podcast. We do not endorse any products or services mentioned unless stated in any of our episodes. Thank you for listening.